right now.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it was great.
Right, and you had some Bachelor Nation people there. I mean, Chris was there. How is Chris Harrison doing these days? And from one podcast host to the next, how do you feel about his podcast? I think it's great, but he's gotten flack on it, but I think it's a great podcast.
Like I said earlier, you can't please everybody. I was like one of his first guests on the show because we were playing all in a golf tournament together in Orlando. So yeah, I mean, I'm just happy that he's getting back out there and working. He's a workaholic. And so I know having to take a little bit of a sabbatical and a timeout, and I know that was hard for him, but I'm proud of him for doing that, and I think it was something that he needed to do. He needed some contrition from what had happened, and I think that he's done that. And we all have to move on from things eventually, and you can't just stop doing the things that you do. And so I'm just happy that he's getting to, kind of scratch that itch, which is, hosting things.
That is the thing, back to your 7 years, with my favorite thing. It's like, and I have a lot of friends that worked at Sirius Radio, and a lot of them are now, there's a lot of changes at Sirius, and now, there's a lot of pink slips and people are reinventing themselves and starting podcasts. I mean, I think that's the great thing about a podcast, that technically you do kind of just take the matters into your own hands and you can do it on your own.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. What do you think about cancel culture? I mean, we're in like a different stage of it now per se, but like, what do you think just in general of cancel culture? I'm just curious.
I think in certain instances it's needed and very good. I do wonder if the pandemic made things worse because people were so angry, and they were angry because obviously, like, they were stuck at home or they're losing their jobs. They were getting pinched. Inflation started going crazy. Like, I totally understand it. And people just wanted to be mad about things, and so they were able to direct their anger into other things that they normally wouldn't be able to do, and that just made me sad because I totally understand and empathize with people being upset and being angry, but that starts to wear on you a little bit, and it starts to kind of bring your light and your brightness down when you're angry all the time. And so I'm just hoping that now that we're coming out of this pandemic and people are getting out and doing things, that, I don't know, we can bring a little bit more like light back into the world after such a dark place that we were in.
I kind of agree. I mean, I say all the time, like, I do think the pandemic, not even getting into the merits of where we were versus where we are now with cancel culture, but I do think a lot of things were because of the pandemic, and just people had time on their hands, and just, I really do. I completely agree.
Yeah.
And I think, like, I talk about this in terms of Bravo just because there were some certain things there that happened. But like, do you think, like, not arguing the merits, we don't have to get into that, but like, do you think like a Chris Harrison would have gotten let go, so to speak, if all of that happened today?
I don't know. I for Chris, I think, hindsight is 2020. I'm sure he would have done things differently if it happened today. So yeah, I'm not really sure what would have happened. And again, like I said earlier, like, there are people that are paid a lot more money, way higher above that, make those decisions. So yeah, who knows?
Who knows? Well, what about, my favorite thing with Brandi Cyrus? Like, what's the best thing about working with Brandy?
I mean, she's so easy to record with. We've done it for so long now that we fit into lockstep. We can kind of do these shows very, very easily. And I think we both know our roles on the show at this point. So it's not really work. And everyone always says that, like, find something to do and you'll never work a day in your life. And it does feel like that for us. I'm amazed that people are still listening to the show because we've done it for so long. But the YFTers out there are the best fans in the world, and the show just keeps on clicking on.
It does. Well, on my list of favorite things is certainly Endless Summer Vacation. I mean, do you appreciate the new Miley CD as much as I do?
Yeah, I mean, listen, she continuously kicks ass. I'm not surprised by any of it. I'm glad that Flowers went viral, like on TikTok and everything. Like, I think that's awesome for her. But like the Grammys were whatever it was, like a month ago, and Brandy and I were talking about it, and Miley doesn't have a Grammy, and that to me is what doesn't make any sense. Like the amount of records she has sold, the amount of tickets she has sold, like what? I'm so very confused. Recording Academy, like let's get that together. Yeah, no, she's killing it. You know who else is killing it is her little sister Noah. She is putting out such good freaking music. I've known her since she was, 17, 16. And I'm so very proud of her. She's gone in her own like little lane, and she's great. Obviously, Billy Ray is still making amazing music. I mean, he just won a Grammy for Old Town Road not too long ago. So and then Brandy is like one of the best DJs I've ever seen, and so yeah, that family's just kicking ass.
I don't even think I knew that Miley didn't have a Grammy. Wow.
Right? When
Wow.
when Brandy told me that, I was like, that can't be true. That's not real.
I mean, Flowers is like one of the biggest songs of all time. So, I mean, maybe next year this will change because that's just crazy.
Yeah, no, fingers crossed, right?
Like I saw something where Gloria Gaynor was even like, I will pass the I Will Survive torch to Miley. Like, this is the new I Will Survive. I'm like, those are some pretty powerful words there.
Yeah, for sure.
What type of like music do you like in general? Like who's, on your regular playlist?
Well, so I was an indie radio host in Nashville for a very long time. So I very much lean towards like the indie sad bastard Americana stuff. Hold on one second, this dog.
We love a dog.
Hey, babe, can you call Boo? She's scratching on the door. Ugh. Sorry, man.
Oh, it's okay. We love a dog here behind the velvet robe.
I love a dog when they're not interrupting my interview. Music. So yeah, I like sad bastard music. Like we just went to. Have you ever been to Pappy and Harriet's in Joshua Tree?
No.
Okay, you got to go. It's like the most fun thing in the world. And we went to go see my buddy Raylan Baxter play out there. And so there's this place called Pappy and Harriet's in Joshua Tree, and it's like an old Wild West town. Like I think they used to shoot like westerns there, so it's like still looks like that. And you go there, and they've got a venue, which is kind of on the middle of the desert. No one really knows why it's there, and everyone kind of stops there to perform because it's kind of routing wise makes sense.